Hello everyone and welcome back to English 1510. This is for the week 11 overview. A couple of quick things on there. There are slight discrepancies between a couple of classes. I have one of the classes I still was not able to get through all of those things on feedback files for rhetorical analysis for a number of reasons. There are a bunch of things working with individual students that took more time than expected, and then some of the other things with the audio, trying to fix those. I try to do my best to make sure everybody got, if they didn't get audio prior, then they got it this time. But it's best laid plans of mice and men oft go awry. So it's I went back and fixed a number of them and added different ones or updated and tried to post those. But for two of the classes, got through everyone's by last week, and then it was a smattering for one of the classes over the last few days. So I went ahead just in all of them and moved it so that rhetorical analysis are still a couple more days here on the final draft. If you have yours in, fine. If you just got the feedback file with an audio or feedback file in general on something like that, then obviously you have the leeway here up through the 21st. And if something specific came up with an individual student, you weren't able to see a feedback file or whatever on there, make sure you message me up here in instant messaging and let me know so I can respond to that and see if there's something I can do additional. But for the most part, I think the students who needed extensions got them, and I worked as effectively as I could with individuals, both in those open office hour sessions and then some additional ones where we worked in class together, visiting students both from online and face-to-face. But as of now, I just put it for the 21st to give a cushion on everyone's. Two of the classes, everyone had their things, so hopefully you're just submitting final drafts and we'll go from there. I will still be posting memoir final draft feedback this week and next. For some, it just depends on where you fell in the order of prior feedback and submissions. This is the viewing from the home screen. Online courses should all look similar in these. There's just going to be a slight difference between two of the classes. This announcement was posted. I moved this down below. This is if you're on any one of the online classes and you scroll down from where we're looking at on this page here. This is just down at the bottom of the course schedule, tentative plan of work. Week 11 is posted here. And then the reminder about open office hour sessions was still reiterated right here. If you need to pause and review that, that's going to be disappearing this week. I am still holding the one more tomorrow at 1 p.m. and then I think that's going to be it for a little bit unless I see more interest. I had these the 7th and the 14th. 7th, I had a number of students show up. 14th, it was a smattering throughout the day. Tomorrow, I will only be able to do like the 1 hour to 1.5, but still, if students show up for that, by all means, come on in around 1 at F217, and we can go over any of the things that you need to on there. For week 11, I changed these up. From week 10, I moved that rhetorical analysis final draft due date to the 21st at 11:30 p.m. and then the research summary paper topic summary with working thesis that's due this evening by 11:30 p.m. That stays the same. So week 11 now we're going to be focused on the primary points of support and works cited. So I'll touch on that in just a moment. For week 11, make sure that you focus your reading on your peer-reviewed articles from the databases, and that's all. Anything else with helpful readings noted in here from the textbook, part 5 of your textbook there. The videos, make sure that if you did not last week and the week prior, that you got through these videos in the content folder up there above, making sure that you've gone through these. Remember, those are linked here under the content file, left-hand side under these different videos. The first two were week 9, second two were week 10. Now we're in week 11, so you should have watched those, have a good understanding of when you're on the home screen here. If you need to research your topic, you went to library, took you to the external page here for our school. We go through a general search of what our topic is. Media literacy, let's say we picked that as one of our research topics. And remember, so on here, folks, we're looking at This is the Dropbox content from last week. It's the same content here for this week. If I was looking at media literacy, picking from here as a topic, I'm doing a general search, so I want to make sure that I go over here and select full text online and peer-reviewed journals. For this topic, I might also, as I said before, I might also change the range where I narrow this view and refine my search to a certain number of years. You'll see I cut from 20-some thousand different sources in these ones. Full text, peer-reviewed available. Just happened here, it didn't go through my timeline. Apply filters. For some reason it didn't on that one. Now it did. Dropped us down from 60,000 to 14,000. And you can see all these different topics on this. I've done these with students on media literacy, the music therapy, any of the different topics that you have to pick from here, health outcomes, scientific literacy, daily exercise, the benefits of daily exercise, both physical and mental. We can talk about in those, but these are the general things that came up as a search on those. If I wanted to use something as the Journal of Media Literacy Education, if I wanted to go to this source and read through some of the component pieces here, I'd want to find a specific article out of that one. But if I have something like this, educating media literacy, the need for critical media literacy in teacher education, and if I went through here and I was able to find my online access with full text available, I can go through there and review it. And if I want to cite this, I'm going to select MLA 8th edition, and I'm going to grab that citation, and I'm going to put it on my works cited page that I create. Now remember, this is going through for at least your 5 sources from last week. Now this week on the primary points of support, you'll need 10. So make sure you're building this and continue to read your research. Read through this file, watch the video. This is from the summary with working thesis that's due this evening. Remember, these components are both the assignment components for last week and this week. The drop boxes are nearly the same, except for the new one. You'll see that it's marked on here what's one week and what's the next one. The first one was to fill this out, right? Summary with working thesis. Give all your content information here. Give a working thesis about the topic. That would be enough information here if done correctly to make the intro paragraph of your upcoming essays on these. And then, as I said prior, you could include this if you switch this over to Times New Roman 12-point font from here moving forward, and we went ahead and put in a works cited title here centered. I could hit enter, left justify again, and I can paste my citation that I just got. I can paste that in here, and I can reformat to my Times New Roman 12-point font. Make sure that on my paragraph spacing, line spacing options, let's make sure my after spacing and before spacing are set to 0. And then every line after the first one, enter and tab, you want to make sure that's tabbed over so it's a hanging indent on those. Now, remember that these need to be in alphabetical order and formatted this way. This should be all one document. You can create this on the page here. I won't mark anyone down if it's an additional document. You couldn't figure out how to do this and you attach another one with it. But the summary and working thesis must have a works cited page with 5 sources at least. And now for this week, we're going into as I said, you have your rhetorical analysis for Tuesday. I don't need to review that again. Just make sure you look at your feedback on those. For many of you, too, I was posting more up through even Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, fixing some of the audio files or managing some of the things that were submissions that I was working with other students on. Now this week we have the primary points of support. This is obviously down here at site. It shows when the due date on the 27th, which is also listed here for week 11, right? The 27th by 11:30 p.m. That's just the second portion of what you already started last week. What is due tonight is the summary and working thesis. What's due next week is the primary component piece that goes through and says right here, try that one more time, right here, primary points of support. It is the same exact approach. You're still doing all this of the same content right here. Just in this drop box it lists this first piece was from last week. For this week you're doing this one, the primary points of support and preliminary work cited. This will be of 10 sources. So this is everything you should have completed from last week. And then here, now you're doing primary points of support, which if done correctly on this template here, continuing with your research that you're doing, you should be able to come up with 3 topic sentences that will be the topics of at least 3 bodies in the paper that you end up writing as a research report. Giving, if let's say you did media literacy and what is it and why is it important, you might come up with 3 primary reasons, right? You might define what media literacy is in your intro paragraph in your topic section, and then you might here come up with 3 reasons that media literacy is important. Maybe it's important in education, maybe it's important in research, maybe it's important in our personal lives to not have mis and disinformation. Whatever it's going to be, those topic sentences should be listed here that can carry you through body paragraphs. Then, just as I said before, now you're going to have a works cited page that's going to have at least 10 sources of those peer-reviewed full text available. Make sure you read through this. Once the topic sentences are completed, you're going to go to the top of this page and you're going to move this heading right here to the top of a new page. So always remember, a works cited should be a page of its own. That starts at the top of the next page. So you would do the same thing we just did on the other one, and you'd put your citation here. You'd format it for Times New Roman 12-point font, MLA style, right? And we'd make sure that in our paragraph settings, we don't have any after spacing set, and always make sure the second line of any one that goes beyond one line of an entry is a hanging indent. So again, if you were starting with a new entry here, let me grab one more from our general search here. We'll do it as an example exercise here. Intermediately Teacher's Handbook or Understanding. There's a video on that one. That's probably a good one too for some of you. And I'll do my citation here. Understanding Media Literacy. This one's not going to have a hanging indent. It only has this information from this film group for the actual citation page. So this is all that I have available to me. So if I have that, I know that I'm going to go to this line and I'm going to do a paste here, and all I'm going to have to do is select all of this and reformat it for Times New Roman 12-point font, making sure that, again, that I don't have any after spacing that changes over or switches anything on this. You can also format these, and you'll see I put that in alphabetical order in accordance with the first letter at the opening here. So Butler. Now if I had anybody else with a last name that starts with A, and move that down, obviously, and I continue. So it's always first the alphabetical order in accordance with what the first letter is on the left-hand side. All right, so at least 5 sources from last week, due this evening at 11:30. This primary points of support of the topic sentences. As you read and research, all you got to do now is give me 10 sources on here that you're going to be using in your work, and the topic sentences that you, as of now, are going to be using in body paragraphs. If I have any questions about any of this, guys, once again, I draw your attention up here to the instant messaging envelope. Just send me a message there and let me know if you have any questions or comments there that you need to get clarification on. Primary points of support, just remember that the basic, following that, the basic requirements for the overall paper are listed down here. And in the weeks ahead, we're going to be finalizing both that summary and working thesis will be done this evening. Primary points of support next week. And then you guys will be building your outlines, and you'll see that you have some spaced out time here to really develop these. I also, as I said, I have about another 8 to 10 days, let's say, on a lot of the memoirs for the final draft feedback, but then we'll still get us up to middle of next week, and then we'll have at least until April 10th to do the rewrites. I'll make sure that everyone, once feedback is posted for everybody, I'll make sure everyone at least has 2 weeks to do a revision on that one. That's not the case with rhetorical analysis. This is the only one that gets to get revised from start to finish again. Rhetorical analysis, make sure you're using ASC tutoring. For those of you still battling with sentence level issues, remember, you got to get through tutoring with some of those things. Some of these are definitely skill sets that should have been addressed prior to coming into a 1510. For rhetorical analysis, once I've addressed everything on these, the final draft ones that I start reviewing this week after Tuesday submissions, that will be it on those. Okay, so again, let me know if you have questions, but make sure you're reviewing all content and keeping up with the work and reading.